Welcome to the Freewrite, a show where we dive into the art of songwriting, storytelling, and the creative process. Join me as I sit down with writers, musicians, and other creatives to talk about process, inspiration, and creating something from nothing. If you're an artist looking for community or a fan wanting to hear about the creative process, there's something for you here. Today, my guest is MADDEN. Case is a new artist who's coming out with new music soon. We had a great conversation about songwriting, poetry, the act of creating, the different ways that it can happen. It was a really nice conversation, and I hope you enjoy it. MADDEN, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I appreciate you hopping on the podcast.
Of course. Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I want to get started. If you could just tell me broadly about your path to songwriting.
Oh, gosh. Honestly, I feel like my path in general has been kind of all over the place. Like, I started with just writing poetry when I was really little, and I still write a lot of poetry. But I got more into like songwriting maybe when I was like 4 or 5 years old. In middle school, I decided to make a band with one of my friends, and unfortunately, I forgot the password to the account that those songs are posted under, so they're probably going to be on the internet forever. But you know, you live, you learn. We all start somewhere.
We won't say the name of it on here.
Yeah, we won't. But I know my friend. I'll send him like the link to this when it's out, and he'll know what I'm talking about. Oh my. But
I just had a similar experience. I reconnected with a friend recently, and
mhm.
on my first project I ever released, he has like a feature like verse on it, and we were texting and he was like, dude, could you send me that link? And I was like, you can't share this with anybody, but like I'll send it to you. But like they're privated on SoundCloud now, and so I totally I get that.
That's all of mine are stuck in
Public.
BandLab right now.
Damn.
Well, for like most of them, they're in BandLab, but there's unfortunately, it's the worst kind. Like, I have a YouTube channel for that band that's for music videos. So it's not just a song. It's not just a song. It's me in middle school with my very good video editing skills from my phone back then.
Nice.
It's rough. It's rough. It's really rough. But after that, I remember I got more into it in high school because I started taking poetry club in my freshman year, which was with one of my English teachers, and he helped me like build up my courage to apply to Warren Tech, which is like this concurrent enrollment school. And they have a music production program that I went to, and that's where I learned basically most of what I know. I started at very novice, like amateur, had no idea what I was doing, and that's kind of where I learned most of everything from, honestly. But kind of since then, I've just been learning from other artists that I've been listening to. But also making like music friends too, and like watching their process and like seeing behind the scenes to like what they do to get certain sounds and certain emotions. So it's like more immersive. It's kind of so it can be a little all over the place for me. Like overall songwriting process can be, chaotic. Sometimes it's starting with a poem, a melody, a groove, just a feeling. It kind of depends,
Well, to start getting into the process, the name of this podcast, The Freewrite, it comes from a practice that my mom taught me. She's a writer. And the premise is just a free write being like set the timer for 15 minutes and just don't let your pen stop moving or for however long.
Okay.
That's kind of the origin of this. And so I want to ask, like, are there any practices that you have to like maybe get in the zone? I especially thinking about it with like you kind of growing up writing poetry. I'm curious how things maybe align or differ or any of it?
Yeah, I love that. I love the origin of Freewrite. That sounds so wholesome, and I think that's so like cool because my like approach is kind of the opposite.
Hmm.
I kind of like going in to a songwriting session acting like the world's ending, and like the walls are exploding, everything's falling apart.
Yeah.
Um, and then like convince myself while writing that everything's actually fine, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. It sounds kind of dumb, but
Yeah. No.
it's like I feel when going into writing, feeling like the world's kind of ending, it's a much more vulnerable and like emotional state.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like easier to write those like undertones of the song, like the things that if you read into more make more sense. But
Mm.
it honestly, I feel like it's resulted in a lot more good songs for me. But it that I think that's my main one. Is just going into it acting like the world's ending, and then you know, with my writing, convincing myself the world's not actually ending. So
Yeah.
that it's like also in my writing, it feels like there's a story going on where like in the beginning, it's like a little, pessimistic. I'm not like so sure about things. You get through it, and at the end, it's like, yeah, I'm sure about like whatever it is that like the song's about, kind of thing.
Yeah. That's super
Hmm.
interesting. So what does you said it can look a lot of different ways, but like if you were today to sit down to write, what are those like initial steps? What does it look like putting yourself in that space of the world is ending, everything is not like how do you if you can kind of dive into that? I'm so curious what that would look like.
Honestly, it's kind of building something around the feeling of the world falling apart, but God, it's kind of hard for like me to describe it because I know a lot of people like to use the word like picturing for
Hmm.
it. Like you want to make a song people can like picture in their head when they listen to it, but I don't know. I feel like it's too shallow of
Mm.
a feeling to just picture something. So it's like my first kind of step is to embrace the feeling of it more. Like when I'm listening to a song or something for like inspiration, like I'm usually not listening to like the instrumental or the vocals or the lyrics or like the story. It's more like the feeling at first because I want to like feel what is happening when it's happening in this song so I can like build the world around it and make it feel like more immersive and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so that's usually like my start is like finding like what instruments can set this like atmosphere, what lines stick and sting and like
Mm.
that's like another thing that um I like to focus on is I like having certain parts of the song that leave you thinking differently, like ones that make you think, huh, like you can apply this to your own life. Like I'm thinking more clear, but also ones that sting at the same time.
Yeah.
Like
I like that.
making sure that different parts of the song, like the first verse, the pre-chorus, the chorus, so on and so forth, they all end with a different like resonance to
Hmm.
it that sticks with the listener. That's usually where I'll start off and then I'll like build from there.
Yeah. On the very tangible level, like is that starting with an instrumental? Is that getting some words down? Is that just
Hmm.
having a guitar in your hand? What is that like? And
For
if
me,
it's always different, that's cool too. I'm just
for me, it's always different,
yeah.
which is like not the case for everybody for
Hmm.
sure. I mean, lately it's been a lot more instrumental based because, when I'm starting with like a guitar or if I'm starting with like a sample or just something, I'm wanting to set that initial like mood of the song so then I can like start writing to it.
Hmm.
That's been what I've been doing lately. Um, but I mean, in the past, it's really chaotic, like really chaotic. But I would usually start with the instrumental. That's
Yeah.
usually where I like start. I feel like it's a good foundation,
Yeah.
like to build up at the beginning.
And do you produce your own stuff, or are you in a session with a producer for that, or a little of both?
I do produce my own stuff. I do it in my own bedroom, which is
Yeah.
not the best, but I even bought like $20 Amazon sound foam for it. So, you
Cool.
know, hey. So it works. It
Yeah.
works.
Anything
But
that, yeah.
yeah, I do have this one um friend of mine from Warren Tech that helps me with some producing sometimes. One of the
Sure.
songs that's in the EP that I'm wanting to release this year will be produced by him.
Nice.
But other than that, it's all done here
Yeah.
in my bedroom. Yeah,
Have you ever taken a poem that you've written and put it to music?
I have.
How has
I
that
have.
gone?
Oh, it's gone amazing and terrible.
Sure.
Um, but for like the most part, it's gone pretty good. I feel like in my earlier songs that are no longer on like Spotify and stuff, I
Hmm.
used a lot of like my poems as inspiration for it. Um, which is what I kind of tried going back to, and except I'm not necessarily using poems. I'm using my old songs kind of as inspiration, but it all started with like me turning my poems into songs. So
Yeah.
um, it went pretty well overall.
Does the process of lyric writing feel similar to you to the process of writing poetry, or do they kind of feel like different parts of your brain at this point?
Dang, I feel like they are kind of different parts of my brain now. Come to think of it, I've never truly like thought of that, but
I was talking to my mom the other day. She's a
hmm
writer, and we were talking about songwriting, and she has
hmm
written a lot of poetry in the past, but never written a song. And so
yeah,
we were just kind of talking about the differences and like how many different types of poetry there are that don't have to rhyme, but most songs end up rhyming at least a little. And so it's
hmm
like it was such a kind of foreign process for her to think about. And so that's
yeah,
why I'm curious with you having that kind of background of both.
yeah. I feel like the main difference with like the two is like when you're at least reading poetry, um, the main thing that's like working is just your mind. Like you're
Mhm.
reading the words and then you're trying to picture and feel like what they're saying off just that. But with music, it's also the sound. Your ears are also
Right.
doing the trick, but also like in a way it's your eyes too, like a lot more there's a lot more music videos now. There's a lot
Sure.
more visual like elements to music now.
Hmm.
Um so it still has like that core element of like making this overall picture of like what this story's about. Um, but with music, then it's like taking that and then expanding it to like, you know, fit your ears, what you want to like think in your mind, like those
Yeah.
all those different things. So it's like it's kind of the same, just with more to like consider.
Yeah. Talk to me about melody and about like putting words to melody. When you're writing, it sounds like these days you kind of have that instrumental that you're building upon. Are you starting
Mm,
with just like melody and gibberish, or are you kind of forming lyrics at the like what is bringing that new element, like you were saying, like this now we're using our ears more than just with the words.
hmm I kind of bounce between starting with words and starting with melodies because
Mm,
sometimes when I'm like listening to an instrumental, I feel like I don't know, sometimes words will come to me first, like those like stick and sting words might like, you know, come to my mind, or it might be like the verse melody or like the chorus melody, something like catchy. It kind of is a little all over the place. Unless I'm like using a poem for inspiration, then it's um, a little bit different because that first like writing the words down process is kind of already out of the way, so I can
yeah.
start getting melodies down and then kind of going from there. But I'd
Yeah.
say like for the most part, it's it starts with like melodies, and then I mean there's times where I'll even come up with harmonies before I even write a single word down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like storytelling in instrumentals.
Hmm.
Um, like growing up, like Imagine Dragons was like huge for me when I was like growing up. So
Yeah.
they have like this style of music where you can listen to it and like with vocals is one, it sounds amazing, it tells a story. You listen to the instrumental, it sounds amazing and it tells its own story. You can listen to like either and it sounds like wow.
Hmm.
Um, and honestly, I feel like that's kind of um, an important thing for me. So
Yeah.
I love going off of just like sound for as much as I can.
Hmm.
I love going off of like what sounds I can make first before like the story if I
Yeah.
can.
Is it usually a linear process in terms of like verse, chorus, verse, bridge, if there's one, like, or are you bouncing around?
Yes and no. I write so weird. Like I feel like I bully myself for the way that I write so much because it's so unheard of. It's kind of linear. Like I'll start with verse one, you know, pre-chorus, chorus, so on and so forth. For the most part, it's
Hmm.
usually how I go. But I never write front to back. I'm always writing back to front. So I'll start verse one with how do I want to end verse one? What's a word or a line that I can, you know, say that has the most energy? Because like when you're starting a writing process, the things that you're thinking of right away are what are the, you know, most energetic lines, the heaviest lines. But the issue is when you write those at like the start, you can't write something that feels like more deep, more powerful after. It becomes like a struggle. So I always put that at the end, and then I'm like, what can I use to lead to this, and then to lead to that, to lead to that, so on and so forth. And then I go to pre-chorus, chorus, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm going like linear, but each section I'm writing back to front.
Yeah.
It's it's so weird, but
That's interesting. That's super. Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool. Like it makes sense. You know how you're feeling and how you want the song to feel. So you want to be able to
Hmm.
land that section with that feeling in a strong
Yeah,
way.
exactly. It's always about ending off like each section strong enough to set up the next one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it kind of feels like a song might fall flat. Like you can have a melody there, but if those lyrics aren't sticking like right at the end, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of tension between the two sections. You know, like the
Yeah.
listeners listening and they're like, I'm not, you know, looking forward necessarily to the next section. I haven't, you know, had that push yet. So it's like at the end of each section having that you know, thing that sticks is always important to me.
Are you are you crafting the instrumental and like producing it while you're writing it, or are you like you're yeah you
Yeah. Yeah, usually.
okay, yeah, so then you're able to kind
Hmm.
of craft the energy of the instrumental at the same time that you're crafting the energy of the lyric.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
It's yeah, it's kind of like the way that I've seen my friends produce, it makes me feel
Mhm.
like my way of producing is a little like weird, but
It's super interesting. It's cool. I like,
it's
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It usually is like all together because I'm like, if I can start with the verse and start that like back to front writing
Hmm.
style with a little bit of instrumental, like if it's a sample, if it's a little guitar, you know, then I can get my drums, my bass going, and then like build it from there and set the tone because then I can go into like the pre-chorus writing the actual lyrics and think like this is the energy that I want to have now. Because if I'm writing it like front to back separately from when I'm making the instrumental, I feel like it can also fall flat a little
Hmm.
bit.
Hmm.
But when I'm like writing it at the same time, it feels like I have more like ability to like chisel away at like the instrumental to make like the words fit better, or like vice versa, that kind of thing. Like there's a lot of points like in my upcoming song where the drum, like the kick hits and the bass hits, and it's like stabbing at the same time as my like vowels. So it's like bump on, like it's on point with it, so that
Yeah.
it adds like emphasis to the words. That's something that
Mhm.
I do like while I'm writing it and while I'm making the instrumental. Because if I do that like separately, it might not like hit as hard at these certain points in the
Yeah.
song. But yeah.
Is the process for you, how long will it take? Will you go from nothing to full demo version in a day?
I have before, like full demo version in a day. I did that with the song
With
that I
one?
have ready,
Cool.
that's ready to come out. But overall, I feel like start to, feeling like the song is ready to be released is like, it can be anywhere from like 2 weeks to like
Sure.
half a year. I
That
won't lie.
initial write though, because this process sounds like it's all kind of happening at the same time. Um,
Mhm.
is it something that you're able to jump back into the next day and like find that headspace?
If I make something I'm proud enough with, then I can definitely jump back into it.
Okay.
Um, it kind of depends though, because I feel like if I make something that like at the time I'm thinking like, this is good, but then I bounce it, I listen to it outside my room and stuff, and then I'm like, mm, is it really that good?
Hmm.
And then it ends up kind of like slipping, and then it just kind of falls farther and farther down, and then sometimes I'll end up scrapping it too. But
Yeah.
that's yeah.
So
Yeah.
that initial like writing process, you'll kind of have the fully formed like verses and choruses kind of at least roughly laid out on day
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, for the most part. I'll try to do it like, most of the leads, I try to get all of them done, and
Yeah.
then, depending on how I'm feeling about it. After
Yeah.
that, I'll do like the harmonies and then like ad libs and all that kind of stuff, and then just slowly start like mixing it all together.
What is the recording process like for you? Are you recording your own vocal and producing your own vocal?
Yes, I am.
Tell me about that. Yeah.
It's interesting because my room acoustics are not top notch, to say the least.
Yeah.
Um, Even with my very luxury, Amazon Prime sound phone,
Yeah.
it still has some, boxy frequencies to it.
Hmm.
So it's an interesting process because I'll, take my microphone to the studio and record with it. It sounds wonderful. And then I'll record with it here, and then I have these like boomy sounds that are in like my low end of the EQ, and
Yeah.
it'll like drive me a little crazy, but
Yeah.
overall it's pretty good. I'll toss a blanket over my head with my microphone, and then I'll have like my phone to read the lyrics.
Yeah.
um, and then I'll like kind of go from there. I'm
Hmm.
still honestly learning how to produce vocals. They're not amazing right now, but
It's tough.
a lot of YouTube tutorials
Yep.
and TikTok deep dives are
Yep.
helping a lot right now. So,
Nice.
but
Do you have a process for getting other people's ears on it when you're starting to feel like it might be something you want to release?
usually I'll either like send the full thing of what I have to like some of my friends and see what they think of it,
Hmm.
or I'll like clip part of it and send that to them and have them like see what they think of it. Like I don't entirely like teasing the full song all the time,
Yeah.
because I like building hype for them too, but sometimes I just can't help it if it's like really cool.
Hmm.
But usually I'll just, send a little snippet though. I'll
Yeah.
send that to like my music friends and then my family too, and see like what they think of it.
Will there ever be like an editing phase then after that? Will you be like kind of taking some notes that they've given and do some editing, or is it more of like a, is this working, is this not working?
It's kind of an all of the above kind of thing.
Hmm.
I'll like take down what they think, what they think is sounding good, what they think is not sounding good, and I'll like try and fix it to the best of my ability, and then I'll like listen to it and be like, is this, the sound that I want to have? Um, and if I don't feel like it really is, then I usually don't move forward
Yeah.
with that song.
Yeah.
But usually that doesn't happen much. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But
And then after that process, how do you know when the song is done?
ooh, that's honestly that's a tough question because I feel like every single song that I've ever released, I've like gone back and listened to after releasing it and been like, damn, I could have done
Yeah.
this different, this different, this different, re-recorded this. So it's like I feel like I'm still trying to learn how to figure out when a song is actually done.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, for all I know, it could be like painting or like other forms of art where it's never truly um, completed, and it's more like up to the viewer or the audience or listener to like fill in that gap or space like in their minds when listening to it or something like that.
Yeah.
But I would love to find like to figure out how to tell when a song's done though, because I feel like as a small artist especially, it gets like really struggling because a lot of the time you want to make like the best sounding song, so it's kind of
Yeah.
hard to not be your own biggest critic kind of thing.
Yeah. Is there anything that you're really aiming for or trying for when you're songwriting?
Consistency for sure, like especially like in the songwriting process,
Mhm.
because like overall, I mean, like I'll be able to write a full song in 2 days and then not write a single thing for 2 months, but like in the actual process, sometimes I'll like get a verse down and I'll like um oh gosh, it's hard to word it because sometimes I'll get lost on like writing a certain transition point of it, and then I can't end up writing like the chorus or like following things.
Yeah.
So it's like aiming for a consistent pace is really good, because if I like rush myself sometimes, maybe something doesn't get written the way that I want, and then it can like lead to struggles down the line, and then I end up like scrapping the song. So I feel
Sure.
like staying consistent with you know being present in
Mm.
songwriting is probably my go-to thing when I sit down.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, is there anything that you're really trying to avoid when you're writing?
It kind of goes with consistency, um, but I feel like I have to try and avoid overwriting, or like
Mm.
it's kind of also a weird thing to think about, but when I'm doing like my writing process and I'm making the instrumental and everything at the same time, I have to make sure I'm not like overwriting the story, because
Yeah.
some stories, they can have these like constant twists and turns, and they can like keep going and like have all these loopholes, but not every story needs that. So it can get like a little excessive if like I overwrite, because I love poetry, so I love writing a lot, like little things that people might not always notice, but I feel
Yeah.
like overwriting is a thing that I always try to avoid, but a
Hmm.
lot of the time it still ends up happening. So
Sure.
it it's kind of difficult though as a writer to not
Yeah.
overwrite, because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Talk to me about collaboration. Have you done co-writes in the past?
I have, yeah.
What's
I've
that like
done
for
a
you?
it's been it's pretty good. I mean, I've done a couple collaborations in past albums before. Uh, and overall, I feel like my experience with it's been pretty solid. Um, I feel like I've made some of my best friends through collaborations with writing and music, but
Yeah.
I've also made a couple enemies with it, but we don't need to talk about that.
Sure.
Um, it's like I don't know. I feel with collaborating, it's nicer having two minds writing over one mind writing it. I feel like there's this like uniqueness to
Mhm.
the song once it's done because it feels like two different windows into the same song that's playing because it's
Yeah.
two different, you have two different people on it. So like the writing process tends to result in stuff like similar to that. It's really cool.
Yeah. How does your process change with it? Are you like, do you bring people into the back to front idea? Or are you like, "Oh, okay, I gotta go in order now"?
I try. They don't like it. I have not found
Oh
one
man.
person that likes it
Oh
yet.
shoot.
But you
Yeah.
know, um I mean like the people try and let me do it like when I'm writing. I
Yeah.
usually still do that. But I mean most of the time they look at me like I'm crazy, but it's it is what it is. It is what it is.
Do you listen to music in that way? Like when you're listening to music, are you thinking about like how people are landing the plane with their verses and choruses and whatnot?
Yes, yes, I do. Specifically one artist,
Hmm.
Miko, he does
Hmm.
that in a lot of his songs.
Okay.
And it's like every time I listen to a new song of his, at the end of like these lines, I'll like hear these like words that like just land so well. It's great inspiration, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I started doing it. It's, I just did and then
Yeah.
noticed it later on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now talk to me about like naming projects, naming songs or albums or whatever it might be. Like, yeah, if anything jumps out about the naming process for you.
Oh gosh, I feel like that might be the most difficult part, like part of the
Really?
process for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I always like naming the song earlier on than later,
Hmm.
which makes it like a lot more
Back to
difficult
front.
because a lot of people like making the name of the song, like a lyric in the song.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I like having the name of the song earlier because it also kind of sets a feeling for it,
Yeah, it can
like
help
a
guide.
theme.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, and like with my newer or with my upcoming release, it started in a way. It sounds a lot like a song that I really like called "Dream Boy"
Hmm.
by Miko, and the drum pattern is inspired with that song too. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's kind of like based on the sounds that I'm wanting or like a theme that I'm wanting from another song that I've heard kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, but other times it's more or less just the feeling of like in the moment. Um, like what kind of energy is this song giving and then going from there and then like kind of picking a name.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll even like take the lyrics that I have and I'll write a poem out of it, and that way try and like lead up to unique words or just different things that I can use, and then
Yeah.
like make that the title, and then use that in a future part of the song. Just so they can
Yeah.
hear the word in the song, because I don't. There's some people that listen to music and don't like songs that are titled something that's not a lyric in the song.
Hmm.
I know a lot of my friends are that way, so I try to, for the most part, incorporate that. But
Sure.
yeah,
And then when you do that, is it kind of like, um, because I feel like I might relate because there's been times that, or tell me if you relate to this. There's been times
hmm
that I will kind of do the free write process where I'll just be kind of free writing in poetry type verse. I'm not thinking too hard about it. I'm just letting whatever jumps onto the page jump onto the page.
Yeah.
And then I'll sit down to write. And those aren't necessarily my lyrics, but I'm able to use that to like pull from to help me write my lyrics. Is that similar to the process that you're talking about with your poems?
Very,
Sometimes?
very, yeah,
Yeah.
very. I do that very often. Like after I get to the point where I have like my title or like first verse and chorus done, that's usually what I'll end up doing. Is I'll
Nice.
like take what I have and then I'll like branch it off into different poems and kind of thing. Or
Yeah.
whoa, and kind of thing. Whoa, my English is not the greatest, but I like branching it off into different poems and then using those poems to kind of like, you know, take apart and piece
Yeah.
together for like the remainder of the song,
Nice.
usually.
Yeah.
But sometimes it just like goes front to back, just
Yeah.
very
Sweet.
fast. It depends.
Yeah. Over the past week or so, in preparation, I was looking at I've been listening to your music. I've been finding some tunes that I really like. I don't have them written down in front of me, but I'm a fan. I really like the
Really?
just like maybe we'll talk about genre in a minute. Genre is a tough conversation for me, but I'm always interested in like how you see genre. But anyway, like you're just the vibe of your music and the area that it sits in, I'm a fan of. But I also was looking at your social media, of which right now you don't have much posted. But I think the two posts that you have, I scrolled and I saw that you had used the music Dance of the Moonlight Jellies from Stardew Valley. And as a Stardew Valley fan who has played way too many hours of that game, and one of my best friends like he has like a poster of the Moonlight Jellies, and so that's
Really?
a common topic or idea in our friend group. So I'm curious if you could speak to why you put that song in the background there.
Honestly, I haven't been super into Stardew Valley for most of my life, but I've like been more liking it recently.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because I feel like such a casual. It popped up on my Instagram recommended audios,
Heck
and
yeah.
I listened to it. I even looked it up and everything, and I was like, "This isn't Stardew Valley. That's cool." And I really liked the sound of it, and I went
Nice.
from there. But
Yeah.
I wish that
Dope.
I had a lot of hours in that. I'm
um
a fraud. I'm
no
a fraud with Stardew Valley.
no
With
no,
the
not at all.
Stardew
That's a
Valley.
great answer. I mean, it's a banger. That tune is so
It
good.
is. It is. It's so
Yeah.
good.
This friend of mine, they went to see the like Stardew Valley concert, I think at the Hollywood Bowl with like a full orchestra,
Really?
like a couple months ago. Yeah. So they're in deep. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, I had to ask about
that's
that.
so cool. Yeah,
Um,
that's so
I
cool though.
I also want to ask about your artist project in general. Like on Spotify right now, your bio is new start and a rocket emoji. And so I know you're kind of going through like a new changing some stuff. I think it sounds like you
Mm,
took a lot of music down that you previously had up there. Will
yeah.
you tell me at all about just the process, maybe what inspired that or like what you're aiming for in the change or just anything around that?
So I think my overall goal is to like just start fresh with music because when I had started, I didn't really know what I was doing
Mm,
for a while. And like even through War in Tech, those projects were still like in the moment of learning how to produce. So they were still very rough. Uh, and honestly, like projects that were released like last year, I still feel like um, are really rough. So the process with that, I feel like I'm kind of removing everything. Um, but like what's left on my page now, I'll end up moving to a different Spotify profile. So
okay.
they're off like my main account, but they're still there because I
Yeah,
have like features and stuff that I don't entirely want to scrap
sure.
from Spotify. But I feel like my overall goal is just to start new, build an actual like debut kind of thing
Yeah,
instead of just winging it.
nice.
But
How
yeah,
many songs or projects have you already removed from there?
All but I think 20 total songs.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 albums.
Yeah.
I think it's my second and third album that are still on Spotify right now.
Gotcha.
But I had another album, and then I had a bunch of singles. So I
Gotcha.
probably removed upwards of like 50
Whoa.
plus songs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
which was hard to do, but I feel like I just got to like that point
Yeah.
with like my creative mind that old like projects just held me back, I feel like. So I wanted to just scrap like the playing field because
Yeah.
I feel like if you're a listener to an artist that you don't know yet, like let's say Spotify just puts it on through algorithm
Mm-hmm.
and it's a nice song, you like it, you're gonna click on, you know, the artist's name, shuffle them, and if it's like a bunch of their old stuff before they knew what they were doing, you're gonna listen and be like, maybe
Yeah.
this isn't like the sound that I like.
Sure.
So it's kind of hard to build that like authentic audience towards it.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like starting fresh is good because I can, you know, hit it strong and then build from there.
Mm-hmm.
So that hopefully, you know, as I release more songs, the songs that I released before still like sound good
Yeah.
in my ears.
Now, talk to me about like visual aspects of music. We hinted at it earlier, but like when it comes to album covers or like, you know, Spotify Canvas video,
Mm.
what is that process like for you?
Usually the process is like my 13th reason. I won't lie. I procrastinate it so much.
Yeah.
But I mean, it usually will happen around the end after I'm done with the song,
Yeah.
just because it's like, I don't know. I'm a lot better with creating like my art musically than like visually, to
Mm.
say the least. But I mean, eventually I get there. It just takes me like listening to the song over and over and like picturing like what, you know, moment I'd want to like film to this that like
Yeah.
you know, captures is the best. But you know, after that time, usually it'll go pretty smoothly.
Yeah. How about for the new releases? Are you in that procrastination phase, or do you have a direction
M-
visually?
Most definitely in that procrastination phase. I won't lie. A week ago, I told myself that I wouldn't be procrastinating at this point, and then
Yeah.
right now, well, not right now, but like around this time earlier, I was like, yeah, I can do this stuff like tomorrow
Yeah.
as well. But to say the least, I'm definitely in that procrastination, you know,
Yeah.
part of it. But I do have like a list, so it's like organized procrastination
Nice.
in a
Yeah.
way. Yeah,
I like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's it's a little hectic, but
Yeah.
you know, it.
That
I
is
don't
what
know
it
if I want to
is.
say it works. I don't know if I want to say it works, but you know, it happens.
It's the process.
It
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the process, but
Nice.
overall, it's a roller coaster, I would say.
Sure. Okay, time for the slow round. Take as long as you like on these questions, or if you want to just rifle through them, it's up to you.
Cool.
First one, what are your beliefs around inspiration?
I get like a really sonder state. I like when I
Mm.
think of these sort of topics, like because like inspiration's so different for each person. But
Yeah.
personally, I think like in general, I'd say inspirations to me is not something that like is waited around for. Um, it's not like, you know, a lightning bolt or like, you know, a light bulb over the head moment. It's a lot smaller than that.
Yeah.
Um, it's like it can be a conversation, a memory, like a movie, a smell, like a drive home, or like a feeling that I can't really explain yet. That kind of thing. So sometimes it'll like, I'll have like a single line stuck in my head for like from a movie or like from a book for a few weeks, that hits randomly and might seem small, but I'll write with it anyways, kind of thing. And then I feel like the best songs actually come from the least expected moments of inspiration. So it's good to like capitalize on every moment rather than waiting for like that one big moment of inspiration.
Yeah. I like that.
I feel like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my general like belief with it.
Nice. You touched on this earlier, but I want to ask it anyway. What do you find yourself writing about most?
I feel like mostly, I don't want to say love songs, but like love related songs, like heartbreak, but also like the more human aspect of love, like not the Disney movie, like you get everything you want kind of thing, but the more human side where it's like no matter what, at some point, like the walls will probably feel like they're caving in, but what matters is like staying together through that kind of thing, instead of it being like a love song about like everything's so perfect, nothing's wrong. It's more like everything's wrong, everything's falling apart, but this is still here, and that's what matters, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a piece of creative advice that you've really resonated with?
I don't remember where I read it. It might have been on Reddit somewhere, but it was, don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. Which I feel like is probably the best piece of advice for people when they're starting like careers like this in a creative field. It is like the perfect way to kill all like inspiration and like motivation. So definitely, like ever since I started trying to produce, that's been like the one piece of advice that has stuck with me the most.
Yeah. What is a creative goal of yours?
My biggest creative goal is the one that I have for my album that I'm making, which is to make like a coherent album. In the past, I feel like my other albums have just kind of been a collage or collection of just songs that I've made since the previous album. And I mean, like it worked, but it's kind of shallow. There's nothing else besides the songs in the album. There's no story, there's no nothing. So I feel like my biggest creative goal is to make an album that's like an actual story in itself with the songs in it. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this new album and this new direction.
Nice.
I remember mentioning it earlier in the interview about like using old songs as inspiration. In that like phase that I had a space poetry kind of feel in my music earlier on, and I kind of wanted to go back to that. So I'm making like a kind of space themed album.
Cool.
It's like, yeah.
Is there a song by someone else that you wish you would have written?
I could name so many. And matter of fact, I wrote down a lot, but specifically, I remember I already said Miko. A lot of songs by him, but also Fly by Midnight. My two favorite creative artists like ever. Fly by Midnight, like production wise, like blows my head away. But like specific songs, I could go on and on. There's lightning in a bottle, divine thing, come around, try, as long as it leads to me, the weather, lesson, love, Casablanca, Nothing New, Super Fine, When She's Dancing, The Out Above Your Head. There's so many. I think
Yeah,
I know their entire discography
sure.
by now. Um, and that it's crazy inspiration to me, and I've gotten to see them live
Nice.
when I went with my girlfriend for my birthday, and I've even gotten to meet them too and had a conversation with them.
Oh, nice.
They are a huge inspiration to me. So I would say all of their music probably,
Yeah.
but then Miko as well. A lot of his like newer stuff
Hmm.
has been resonating with me lately. He's also doing a rollout currently, so his newer album isn't out yet, but he has some new songs from it that are really good, really good.
Cool.
Dream Boy, one of them, was a big inspiration to my upcoming song.
Cool.
So yeah, mainly those two though.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like if I'm not listening to like my own mixes, then it's either Fly By Midnight or Miko. I don't listen to a whole lot else. I won't lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any writers or friends that you want to shout out that listeners should check out?
Yes, yes. On Spotify, my music friends, Aurori J, which is all caps. Oh wait, I need to spell them too. So I'm gonna send this to like all of my friends too, and they can just like witness the struggle since they wanted to have weird stage names. So my friend Patrick, his stage name is Aurori. It's
Hmm.
like Aurora, but with an I instead of an A at the end. Um, J, which is all caps, Jaee. Um, Lily Bell, Belle.
Hmm.
Um, Michael Hayes, Michael spelt Michale. I feel like a substitute teacher right now. I'm not gonna lie, like trying to
Calling roll.
picking
Yeah.
off these names, like roll call here. Um, uh, I have three more that I have written
Heck
down, but
yeah.
Bianca Azul for sure. Connor Nelson is another music friend of mine. He is absolutely phenomenal. And Lost in the Forest. Um, their lead singer and lead producer, their front man helps me with producing a lot. I remember touching on it a little earlier as
Nice.
well. But one of my songs will be produced by him too. So
Sweet.
yeah, definitely check them
Nice.
out. Give them a
Yeah.
listen for sure.
Heck
They're
yeah.
really they're worth it. Yeah.
Sweet. And last thing is anything to promote and where can people find you?
I can't get too crazy into promoting since I'm not done with anything yet, but I would say definitely stay tuned. If everything goes right, I'll have a song out this month and then an EP this year,
Heck yeah.
hopefully,
Nice.
um, for a good promotion. Space travel kind of for the theme with like a hint of love. It's
Yeah.
it sounds so weird on paper, but like it'll be really cool. It'll be
Yeah.
really cool. But yeah, there might
Sweet.
be within a week I might announce the song. So
Heck yeah.
I think there's probably a good chance that you'll upload this before I announce it,
Nice.
which will be fun because then I
Yeah.
can like you know not announce it and fool everybody or something like that. Something fun. I won't actually do that, but
Yeah.
I would just stay tuned. It's a day by day process
Sweet.
at this point for sure. Um, but it's still getting there. I started from like having no future plans in music to having a whole hopeful hopefully an album lineup. So
Yeah.
uh, day by day, but it is happening.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, awesome,
Sweet.
awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Case, for taking the time. I had a great time. I appreciate it. And I'm I'm gonna be yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be trying some back to front writing soon. I'm gonna be like, hey man, we gotta try this out. We gotta see how it goes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can indoctrinate
I'm a
someone into
convert.
writing
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
Let's go. Oh my gosh, that means so much. Thank you.
Of
Oh
course.
my.
Sweet,
Oh
dude.
my.
Well, thank you
But
again. I appreciate it.
of course, of course. I had a wonderful time too, and I'll definitely be watching this episode and like future episodes and all that. But
Sweet.
thank you for having me on. It's an honor. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening to my conversation with Case Madden. You can find Case's music on Spotify while it's still out. There is some of it's going to be taken down soon, so you got to get it while you can. And new stuff will be coming very soon that I'm excited for. You can find them on Instagram as well at case.madden. If you enjoyed the episode, it would mean so much to me if you shared it with a friend and left a positive review. Those both really help the podcast out a lot. You can watch full video of all episodes on YouTube if you search Travis Barrett and the Freewrite. And if you have the means and would like to support myself and the show even more, you can check out my Patreon page. I post unreleased demos, music recommendations, and bonus content from the podcast weekly. I really want to keep this show going, and supporting me on Patreon is the best way to make sure it continues. Thank you again so much for taking the time to listen this far. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you make some time for yourself to create something today.